Hello and welcome to the Darby Creek Diaries. I'm Gail Thompson and I'm jumping back and forth between Creativation and Simon Says Create. We're back to Creativation, and this time we're going to go over some of the swag, and I'm going to have a giveaway and I'll show you some make and takes. Here are all the bags that we wound up getting. Every company had some sort of a bag. And I will talk about some of these companies in a little bit. Now that's the main bag that they give you when you come in. And then that one from Dress My Craft was really cool. And it was really big, so it held a lot. The first thing I was given, and I was just chatting with the lady, and she gave me these Artistry, this marker, which is for sublimation, which is basically a heat transfer of ink. It's kind of a process. But I decided that I thought I would try it and stretch my rubber stamps. So I bought a black stamp or a black pad to go with this. And of course, then I had to buy the tape and some special paper, but you use copy paper to draw on. And then right next to it was this booth where you could do sublimation printing, and she let me pick out a paper and put it on this really nice drink holder. And I can tell you all about it, but I'm going to do a review of the stamps. This is a little bit different process, but we'll talk about it. Then I went by the ARTIFY booth, and that was kind of toward the end of the day. And they didn't want to carry all their stuff home, and they asked me if I'd like some markers, and I said sure, thinking I was just going to get a few markers. Holy cow, they gave me 2 cases. These are alcohol markers similar to Copics, but a lot less expensive. I'm seeing that you can get 120 markers for $99. I don't know what that bunny thing is, but if you do, can you put it in the comments? And this nice container, it's got pockets in there, and it's really cool. And I'm going to show you the tips here in a second. Now you all know that I'm not much on coloring, not because I don't want to, but just because I can't. But I am going to try these out in my elementary sort of way. And then I have these art markers, which are different. She gave me a whole case of these too. These are the different tips on them. So they're kind of just like how there's the Copic sketch and then there's the Copic artists or whatever. It's kind of like that. So they gave me this set of, it's called boho colors. So it's not like every color of the rainbow in this particular pack. They're kind of muted. But I'm going to give those a try, and I'll do it online. And then they had a handful of extras of the first set of markers, so I'll probably give these away. Things throughout this whole video I'll be putting in a drawing for a nice little swag bag for yourself. Then they said, what do you like to paint? And I said, well, sometimes I watercolor. I'm a card maker. And they gave me this beautiful set of brushes, and they're dual brushes in the sense I think that they're part natural bristle and part man-made bristle. But look at this. I just don't even want to use it because it's so organized and clean right now. But I like having all the brushes laid out in their sizes. And it's just, I love having that little art pack. It makes me feel like an artist, having the folded canvas case. So that's pretty cool. And someday maybe I'll learn how to use it. And this wasn't really swag, but it was only $3 because these folks at Dress My Craft also didn't want to carry their stuff back. So this is, of course, a scoring board, and then that's one of their watercolor tattoos that I'll get into later. But on the back of the scoring board, it shows you how to make different envelopes. And I was just showing you that even the package you could do something with. The little pink polka dot. So I will use this in a video since it's smaller. That way I can get rid of that Martha Stewart one that's huge and it messes up the camera angle. And it has its own little plastic bone folder. So I guess you would just call that a plastic folder. And and it just slides on there so that you don't lose it, or at least you're not supposed to lose it. I will probably still lose it. I have a bone folder behind a counter as we speak, and I haven't been able to get it. Now, Spellbinders has this new BetterPress letterpress coming out. It's not available yet, but that was one of the talks of the whole thing. It presses the ink into the paper and kind of lifts just a hair, just the letterpress effect. And this was just one of their samples that they were showing us, and I'm going to color it with those markers, or at least attempt. Then I ran across Crafter's Companion, and they were giving away stuff, and so I have an extra set of this thank you, and so I'll be throwing that into the drawing as well. I will explain the giveaway at the end of the video, and it also has stamps that go with it, so it was a nice little set. And they have a new Gemini that is quiet. Mine sounds like a trash truck, but this new one's, it's not a junior, it's a regular size. The next thing up were these resin markers. I guess it's resin. We dipped these pen covers into water that had, you could pick 3 colors of paint, resin, I'm not sure what. And you would spin it around, and when you brought it back out, after it dried in about 5 minutes, you had your pen barrel. So you got to make 2 because this pen set had a spare. And it also has an additional ink thing. So that was pretty nice. I do think it's resin, but I'll have to take a look, and I can put it down below in the notes. But anyhow, I thought that was nice. And then diamond dots. There were several varieties of diamond dot-ish type booths. And right as I was going out the door, I passed one, and she said, "Hey, do you want a pen?" And I'm like, "Oh, sure," because I was putting them on my lanyard. But you had to make this one, and I didn't. This would also go nicely on a card. It's an entire kit. It's got the little diamond dots and the tray and the little thing that you attach it with and all the stuff. So that'll be thrown in the drawing too, I'm sure, because I doubt that I have the patience to do that. And then I have a sample of art resin, and it looks like it's just the 1 part art resin. And at some point I will figure out what to do with it. It's on my to-do list, but it's pretty far down, because when you see what I got all from Simon Says Create, you'll see I'm going to be busy for a few months. Then we just got little Nicky knackies like pencils and lots of different pens. Buttons Galore gave us some little pearls and things. It's really a cute booth. It has all kinds of neat little shaker bits and things. Speedball gave us a thumb drive, which I thought was pretty cool. And so I found that to be very useful. And I would have picked up a second one had I known it, but this was the last day. Then I have a lot of markers from several different companies that they were handing out that we'll have to test and see what it is they do. I'm not sure. These are all for crafting. There were a lot of fine art booths there, as well as the crafters. Plus, they just had their regular mainline markers like that. That just looks like a highlighter to me. I think that's what that is. So I just, hey, if they're going to hand it to me, I figured that somebody might like this. Even if I don't use it, somebody will. Next, we have a couple of Arteza markers, which I have heard of, the brush markers. They're just like the Zig watercolor markers. We'll try them out against the Zig markers, but I'm sure that they're pretty comparable. And of course, I'm not the connoisseur of markers, but we can take a look. I do like how vivid and pretty they are. And then I think this is another kind of a highlighter. I don't know, it's really got a really tiny bullet point, but I do like me some purples, so they gave me that. It was in a little bag with some other things. Then I went across the Dynasty, their paintbrushes, and the lady was telling me how wonderful these are for stencils, and said if she gave me one, would I, try it out. So I will be trying this out as well. Um, but that's a natural bristle, and that looks like it will be good for getting in the smaller spots. Then Dress My Craft had a little die to get, so I'm going to give that away. It'll be in the pile with the rest of the stuff. Next, I passed a booth called P13, and they have ephemera, scrapbook stuff, little chipboard things, and every day they were giving out something different. So I went ahead and picked these up. It looks like it's a little ticket thing, and there's some paperwork that describes it, and then there's some of their chipboard, or it's not maybe chipboard, but it's a really, really heavy cardboard. So that'll probably be in the bag too. But it does say, that's nice, it says Creativation 23. They made it just for that, for Creativation. And then I had some pins left. The left one's from Dress My Craft, and then Ranger had on top of those bags the one of their distress things. Now this Amadex is really good, and I'm going to try it out. It gets off alcohol ink, but it's kinder to your skin than alcohol, just using straight alcohol. And it's, pretty readily available. And I also have some liquid gloves, so I think I'm going to do a test to see which one is better. Now, this wasn't swag, but my friend Amanda Stevens at Pear Blossom Press has brought out a twinkle set of her easy lights. So they kind of blink on and off, and we're going to be using those. She also has a marker bag that's really cool. That's the Daily Marker, a bunch of her sayings from thedailymarker.com. And she's a coloring person. Her name is escaping me. But anyhow, she has those contests, those 30-day contests. But anyway, these marker bags are wonderful, and you just stick your markers in, and they're great for traveling because you can zip them up. But if you were to just leave it like that, you wouldn't be able to see your markers. Now, the bottom is stiff, but there's a little collapsible part to this. Right there, you can see it in the middle. And when you unzip it, it'll drop down so that you can see the top of your markers. And it's kind of hard for me to show you with the overhead camera. So I'll tip it here so you can see. There we go. So I think that's pretty cool. And I love the design. And so that's going to be what I'm taking on my next trip if I decide to color. But on the plane for 5 hours, I will probably color. The next thing I got, well, a little later, I was shame shopping. I've had this bag, I'll bet 30 years. It's my powder tool. And I was shamed because they said, Gil, do you know how gross that is by now? So I threw it out, and they all said, or they both said, hey, get one of these rapid hole powder tools. They're really, really awesome, and they don't leave any residue. And my friends, by the way, were Debbie J's Crafting Corner and Amanda Stevens of Pear Blossom Press. That's who I went through the booths with at Creativation. And so there's this beautiful brush, and you just turn the dial a little bit and get some poofiness in there. And then in order to put the brush away, you slide that bottom part up, and then that's also where you fill it's kind of like a clay, I think. It's not talc powder, that's for sure. But I really like it, and so bye-bye old bag. Then Alter New has a new, I guess it's maybe chestnut layering tree layering die set. And if you look right there, there's this little triangle kind of keyhole thing. And that is how you can stack and line everything up, you know, because you get a little dizzy when there's all these little pieces. So it's super, super easy. See that little keyhole there? It's in the middle of that light pink. Then Dress My Craft has these tattoos, and all you do is basically water slide. You get them damp and then you slide them onto your paper. And so we made a card with that. The sentiment is also on that tattoo paper. I have all of this stuff, as much as I can, linked below. So if you want to take a look, you certainly can. But the owls are certainly cute. She's got quirky things. It's, you know, really cute. Now, Picket Fence was there. And I did a couple of make and takes. We did the Pouncers with the sunrise there. And just made a quick little card. The Pouncers are fun, and they're great when you're trying to cover wide spaces. She's out of them on her site, but I have them linked at other places that still have them. And then I love these pocket envelopes too. I'm not sure if I'm affiliated with them, but I will look, and if I can link them, I will. And then we did a card the next day with these really cool, I don't know if you could tell, they're like little mylar things. They're just shaker bits, but they're so pretty, iridescent, and I love them. So I'm going to get me a few because guess what? I won their drawing for a $100 shopping spree. Woohoo! Speaking of drawings, we're going to have a swag giveaway. All you need to do is comment below which item you would like me to demo or review or try out first, and then pick a number between 1 and 500. Don't duplicate. Look at the comments to make sure that no one else has used your number. I would appreciate it if you'd like, subscribe, follow me. The drawing will be Mother's Day, and I will post it in the comments of this video. You have a great week. Bye-bye.